When I grew up and I started asking questions, the answer that I would always get was just have faith. Oh, just because. It's just because God said so. So that really kind of started pushing me away from the Catholic Church. I still have books to this day about Catholicism because I didn't want to be Catholic because that's what my family was. I wanted to be Catholic because I chose to be Catholic, and obviously ultimately I chose not to. Now, I have been deployed twice to Afghanistan, so I had already met Muslims at that time that were from Afghanistan. Very nice people. It kind of really changed my perspective on what Islam and Muslims really were. Mind you, at that time I wasn't interested. It's not like I was looking for anything. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, Muslims aren't who the media, the news, Hollywood portrayed Muslims to be. They're just absolutely normal people trying to make a living just like us. But another thing about me is that I like to come at people with facts. So I started researching Islam because I wanted to combat the trolls online, but with facts. You know, I didn't want to come in with emotion. I wanted to come in with the facts. So I started looking into the Quran. I started reading. Everything makes sense. Like literally everything that I know as of now. And a brother comes close and he's like, you know, so what are you waiting for? Like, what is holding you back from being Muslim? And I looked at him and I'm like, nothing. And he's like, so do you want to take your Shahada right now? And I was like, yeah, I do. And so I literally took my Shahada that same day. And I knew obviously I still had a lot to learn, right? But something, I can't explain it, but it was something in my heart that was really pulling me in there. And when I took my Shahada, I felt like I was at home. Like I had made it home, and whatever that looked like, you know, I felt so at peace. I felt like I was where I was always meant to be, like I belong there. So I knew that I was still gonna continue to study, but that was back in December 10th of 2015. So ever since then I've been studying, and there's absolutely nothing in the Quran that I sit here and I doubt, or I feel like I'm oppressed. Like there's nothing negative about Islam that has ever made me question why I became Muslim. So with my sons, we tell them the same thing. Like, if you're Muslim, I don't want you to be Muslim because your parents were Muslim. I want you to be Muslim because you love the religion and you really love Islam, you know? So I let him choose. We let him choose. We told him, hey, do you want to go to Sunday school so that you can learn? And he said yes. And I was like, okay, don't feel pressured. I don't ever want you to feel pressured to be Muslim. And he said, okay, not a problem. In like 2 months, I think, after I converted, he chose to take his Shahada at school, at the Sunday school. He's like, it just makes sense, Mom. He's like, it's just common sense. Everything that they're saying just makes perfect sense. And I told him, I was like, are you sure you want to be Muslim? Like, you don't have to if you don't want to. He was like, Mom, I'm sure I want to be Muslim. And I was like, are you sure? He was like, yes, I'm sure. And I was like, okay. I was like, don't do it for me, baby. And he's like, no. He's like, I really want to be Muslim. Yeah, so he took his Shahada that day at Sunday school. Believe it or not, I was okay. Like, I had already made up in my mind that my husband was never going to convert. Like, I never in a million years thought that my husband was going to be Muslim, because I felt it's better to have a loving husband and a supportive husband when it comes to Islam, right? Like I said, he was very supportive of me, of the kids. He would stand guard when we would pray in public, me and the boys. So I was more than happy with the supportive Catholic husband that I had, that it didn't bother me. Like, I never felt like Islam came to break families up. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So I was just like, okay, well, he's gonna be Catholic and I'm gonna be Muslim, and we're gonna be married and we're gonna live in an interfaith household, and that's completely okay. And so he's like, hey, you guys want to go to the mosque? We're like, sure, let's go. So we get there, and the imam was actually his khutbah was about how we need to take steps. So he was just pretty much saying it's better to be here than not, you know, to focus on just baby steps, that even if you convert and you're still drinking, it's better to be here and try to leave it, you know, little by little. And he was reminding us how Islam was given in stages, you know, the 23 years, two different stages, and how the first half was just given for the people of that time to fall in love with the religion. And then it wasn't until the second half where the ruling started to come. And when the khutbah was done, I'm waiting for them because they're the boys, so they're walking out on another side, and so I'm waiting for them, and they come out, and I just remember my husband telling me, I want to be Muslim. And I was like, what? Like, in shock, because like I said, never in a million years did I think my husband was ever going to be Muslim. Like, never, ever. So when he said that, like, I still remember it now and I get emotional. And he took it in front of our boys, in front of me, and I don't think that anybody, or only us as reverts, I think we can understand how impactful and how beautiful that is. So I just remember seeing my son's faces, having our children witness their father take his shahada. I can't even explain the feeling as a mother and as a wife, like, to just see that moment and experience, number one, my husband becoming Muslim, and then our sons witnessing that. Like, it was just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I can't even explain it.
You guys hug and embrace
Yes,
each other?
of course. Yes, definitely. We were just beyond happy. Beyond